Hey everyone, this is Jillian, and I have some visitors today, I'm very happy to say, but I'm going to get down to business here. So we're introducing variables to write each of the following as a system of equations in two variables. And you learned already about elimination, substitution, and all, well, not all, but some of the methods in which you can solve a system. So here what we need to do is we need to turn this English geometry sentence or two into math, which is algebra. Here, come on over here, Marlo, so you can see. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I've got two angles that are complementary. So you need to remember that complementary in geometry means that the angles add up to 90 degrees. Just like supplementary means they add up to 180 degrees. So here, two angles are complementary. So I'm going to let one angle be x, and I'm going to let the other angle be y. So if, hold on, that's kind of, I didn't put enough space. It looks like bay. Let me make some space there. So now I'm going to say that the angle of x plus the angle of y equals to 90, and I know that because complementary means 90. Now I'm going to have another sentence. So for each sentence we have a different equation. So here this sentence is the measure of one angle is 10 degrees more than twice the measure of the other angle. So let's really dissect this and chunk this down because this is a lot. This is a big mouthful. So the measure of one angle, so x here, and y, I'm going to put it like this. Now this is not true right now. X and y are not the same, but how can we make them equal? So let's see. The measure of one angle is 10 more. The measure of one angle is 10 more than twice the measure of the other angle. And then you have your two equations, and you can set it up with elimination, substitution, and solve it any way you like. For B, we have the length of a rectangle. So we know that we have a rectangle and we've got length and width. And if you draw a diagram and label it, I always use a cursive L because I find that if I just make an L, it looks like a number 1 and people get confused. So if you draw a diagram and label it, that's basically the same as writing your let statements. Here clearly L is the length and W is the width. So the length of a rectangle, so the length is 8 less than 3 times the width. So let me see, did I get that right? The length of a rectangle is, that says 8 more than 3 times the width. I want 8 less than 3 times the width, so I better write it like this. So I purposely did this incorrectly here because I want you to see that you can just write stuff down, and then when you talk it through, you can find it where you went wrong, and that's the beauty of math, is that we get to use it. Look, I've got all these years of university math. I'm still using pencils and erasers. So let's just make sure this is right. The length is 8 less than 3 times the width. And we know perimeter is all the way around. So perimeter is 2 lengths plus 2 widths. And it says here that half the perimeter, so if I cut this in half, if I cut that in half, if I cut this in half, I have to cut this in half, otherwise they're not equal, then half of that is equal to 60. And there's equation 1, and there's the other equation. Or of course that could be equation 1 and that too. Now remember, you can reduce your fraction, so this is really L plus W equals 60 because 2 goes into both of those. Okay, last one for this video. A square. So that means, let's say, x and x, because they have, of course, squares have sides that are the same all the way around, and an equilateral triangle. So I'll call this y, 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 because an equilateral triangle means all sides are equal in length. So a square and an equilateral triangle have lengths of sides such that the sum of the perimeters is this. So when I add all these up, I have 4 x's, and when I add all these up, I have 3 y's, is 105. Now some of you are going to want to call this x, but if you read the question, at no point did it say the side of the square is also the same side as the triangle, and if they don't say that, you can't assume stuff. You just can't go around assuming stuff. So the length of a side of the equilateral triangle, so that's y, is half the length of the side of the square. See, look at all that language, and all they want you to write is y equals 1/2 x. That's it. Anyway, can we say goodbye to everyone now? 1, 2, 3. Bye.